Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Brickfilm podcast, a podcast series where I answer your animation questions. Today we have 9 questions. I am hoping I can get through them all. I think I'm not even going to worry about the half hour kind of time restraint I put myself on. I'm just going to go for as long as I want and get these questions answered because I don't want to hold this off till next week. So, before we jump into the first question, I just want to say, talk about the sponsor of this podcast episode. Yes, I'm doing this again. Don't judge me. But it's a different sponsor. It's actually different. Instead of the animation setup checklist, which you can still grab, I have created a short and sweet, I call it the Animator's storytelling cheat sheet. Okay, I'm sure you've seen my previous video about good animation won't fix bad storytelling, and I'm gonna make a video next week actually about kind of a more practical video about that. But I made in the meantime a little cheat sheet where you literally take your story ideas, or you can even craft your story using this sheet. It's a free downloadable. All you gotta do is go into the description and subscribe to my newsletter. What that means is basically an email list where I send you weekly animation tips on top of getting this downloadable. So it's even better than what I'm describing it to be. It's super cool. I have a lot of fun writing the emails, and a lot of people really like it. But back to what the storytelling cheat sheet is all about, is it's literally 4 checkboxes that you have to actually check whenever you run your story through it. And they're not like small checks either. Like I have underneath the checks, you know what, you're just gonna have to download it and find out. It's really cool. I had a lot of fun making it, and man, by making it, I feel like I've learned so much about what story is all about. And yeah, it's amazing. So be sure to go check that out. And in the meantime, let's jump right into the first question, which is from, who's this from? Yes, Calvin Productions. He has a bunch of Japanese symbols, or maybe it's Chinese, I don't know. He has a bunch of symbols, but I noticed it's Calvin Productions. Sadly, his channel got taken down by YouTube because he made a mistake with shorts. But fortunately, he did ask a question on his other channel, and he asked, would you rather have a small audience with a strong community or a large audience with zero community? Man, you know, if you asked me this question when I started YouTube, I probably would have told you that I wanted a large audience, and I just wanted to get my Brickfilms out to as many people as possible. But through the process of being on YouTube and teaching others how to make animations, which is something I'm I just really want to do more, I've realized that a strong community is so vital, and it is so much better to have a small audience. Maybe it's 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers, but a big community where people are actually engaged with your videos. That's so much more important than clicks. Because if somebody clicks on your video and they just passively watch it, they don't get anything from the video, they don't become raving fans, then A, you're probably making the wrong videos, and B, you're not attracting the right people. I'll get into that a bit, but I just want to explain, like, having a large community is so fun. It's like a little pond in YouTube where you just build this community. Not so much for a stop motion community. You're not really just building a community. It's more like you're attracting the right people into your part of the community. I think that's the right way to put it. But man, it is so fun. And what's the most satisfying for me is I help people make better animations. They ask me questions on the podcast. They Like, this podcast is a great example. Not many people watch it, but for those who do, they're so engaged. They get so much from the podcast. It makes my week, or every other week, because I don't make podcasts every week. I would if I knew there would be enough questions, but that's a totally different subject. Why am I going there? But like, this podcast, like, people are getting so much from it. I don't get a lot of clicks from it. I get 200 views, which I'm really surprised about. I expected way lower. But man, it's just so satisfying to literally just help people. And I think that's a large part of why I like having a strong community, is I can help people on a more personal level instead of appealing to the masses. But that's from a teaching standpoint. And while I do think that having a strong community applies to whatever you're doing on YouTube, even if you're trying to get monetized on YouTube, like, I don't mean to be this guy, but you can make money from YouTube AdSense, don't get me wrong, but it takes a lot. And I don't want to be the viral guy. I could have very well have been the viral guy, a Lego stop motion guy on YouTube, but I don't want to be the viral guy. I want to be, I want to make videos that I don't care. I talked about this plenty of times before, but I just want to make videos where I just want to make them to help. If I can help one person with my video, or make an impact in some way, make people laugh with my Brickfilms, then that's so much more important to me than if it got 10,000 views, 100,000 views, 1,000,000 views. I mean, I think we all want a video to get 1,000,000 views, but it could still happen. There's nothing saying that we can't do that, but I value having a large community. Not so much large, but just a strong, like, tight-knit community where, like, we do voiceover collaborations with each other. You voice over my project, I'll voice over your project. It's just so fun. It is so fun. So yeah, I am so grateful for the channel I have, and I'm so grateful that I stopped chasing virality, because I have found the people who actually care about animation and not just about, dopamine spiking videos. So it's really nice. Did I cover the thing that I said I was going to cover later? I think I did. Yeah, we'll go with that. Anyways. But yeah, that's my answer with that. By the way, good to see you, Calvin. It's been a bit. I need you to make an animation, man. I need you to make an animation. Anyways, the next question is from Ezra Meyer. He asked a question for the next podcast. Hold up. I need to drink some water real quick. I don't edit these usually, so you're just going to have to listen to me drinking water. My apologies. Always keep water by your side when you're talking into the mic or voiceovers. Pro tip. Anyways, Ezra Meyer asked a question for the next podcast. What light were you using for that clip of the Iron Squad arm wrestling that went across the ceiling? That is a really good question. This may come as a bit of a surprise, but I didn't buy that light. It's literally a cabinet accent light, it's a light that you just Velcro on the bottom of your kitchen cabinets to have that nice Pinterest looking accent light. And we just had that light. Actually, we had 5 of them, and we had no use for them. So I just took them, and I'm like, I'm just gonna try this out for stop motion. I could just putty this to a ceiling and get motivated light and just I can really use this slide. This is pretty cool. It does flicker a little bit, but for the scene I'm animating with it, with the gunship scene, gunships typically flicker. So I think it matches the vibe pretty well. Yeah, I think it matches the vibe. So it does flicker just a smidge, which is kind of annoying, but it's not enough for me to like not want to use it. So yeah, that's a lot I use. And yeah, just I think the moral of that story is just find lights that you already have, whether it be like a reading lamp or something, a flashlight, and get creative with different ways you can apply it to your animation scenes. All right, the next question is from the Big Kid 3. He asked, here's a question. My first! Exclamation mark. What are some tips of making thumbnails for your stop motions? I'm gonna answer that before I get to your next question, which is about how to speak confidently for voiceovers, which is a great question, by the way. For thumbnails, tips on making thumbnails. Honestly, that's a great question because thumbnails are a super underrated skill to learn. I'm not saying I'm a master at thumbnails. I am learning a lot as I make more thumbnails. Thumbnails is something like you can take 10 minutes to get an idea or 10 hours. Like I've literally spent, I think it was a challenge video, and I spent I did at least 3 or 4 different revisions of the thumbnail and brainstorming for a good couple hours through the process. I think it was more than a couple hours, actually. I was literally trying to draw something up, trying to make something work. It looked good on paper, but it didn't look good when I actually did it. It didn't make sense. But I finally came to the thumbnail that I liked. And yeah, I say that to say thumbnails are not they can be easy, but if you want to make something really what's the word? Thought-provoking, maybe? Thought-provoking is a good word, because you want your thumbnails to be thought-provoking, maybe raise a question to your viewer, create interest to no matter what the thumbnail or what the video is about. You want to create interest and pique interest in the viewer just from looking at your thumbnail. So a couple things that I do is, number one, I use Affinity Photo. It's a free editing app, actually, on the computer, not the phone. It's on desktop only. It used to be $80, and I got it when it was $80, but now they just decided to make it free, which kind of stinks because I could have saved $80. But no, I got a lot of good use case out of it. You can edit raw images on there, and actually it's a really great editor. Also great for photoshopping, which is what you do for thumbnails. So if you're wanting to get pretty good at thumbnails for free, I would recommend Affinity Photo. It's a great app. Don't ask me why it's free. I haven't figured that out yet. Don't care to. But yeah, that's the app I use. It's a bit of a learning curve, but it's well worth it. But some practical tips for making thumbnails. You can also use Photo Leap for the phone or Canva or something like that. I forgot to mention that. But let's see. Let me look at my notes here. Yes, I take notes. I don't riff. I used to riff on these podcasts, but I found that taking loose notes is really helpful. Let's see. Yes. One of the key things is to think in shapes. One of the most famous shapes to think in for thumbnails that just draw the viewer's attention is a triangle. This is gonna get a little technical real quick, but I won't go too deep in this because I don't have a full understanding of it. But basically, you can either have your main subject at the top of this imaginary triangle and then have everything else at the base of the triangle, And what this does is it creates like this leading line, invisible leading line towards the subject that you want the viewer to look at. You can also do it upside down, where you have the main subject at the bottom of this at the tip of the bottom of the triangle, and everything else is at the top of the base. It's kind of hard to explain, but I hope you get the picture. You can look at like Smiley Face, no, not Smiley Face, dude. Super Sophisticated Super Guy used this, the thumbnail I made for it. Like, you had Super Sophisticated Super Guy at like the top of the thumbnail, like in the middle, front and center, and then everybody else apart that who are in the Brickfilm would kind of like went around him and like in a triangle. So they like scaled down a little bit. I scaled them down a little bit, and I really like that thumbnail. It looked really appealing. Also, my storytelling video I just posted, that video, if you look closely, the thumbnail has my minifigure, which is at the top of this imaginary triangle, and then you have the text as the base. And also I drew some some light streaks pointing towards the minifigure to like have some more leading lines. Like, if you don't know what leading lines is, I really encourage you to look it up, because it will change the way not just you make thumbnails, but also like how you frame up your animation scenes and stuff. Leading lines will help your images to be more appealing to the viewer and draw their eye naturally to where you want them to look. That could be a whole podcast in itself. But yeah, do some research into that. That's vital. Also, while you're researching, look up the rule of thirds. You probably know it already, but it's also very important for thumbnails. But yeah, just get creative. Try to provoke interest in the viewer. Think of yourself as just a person, a random person scrolling and seeing your thumbnail, and just ask yourself like, if I didn't know what this video was about, would this thumbnail paired with this title be a good duo to actually accurately present what the video is about while also piquing interest and make me want to click, even though I don't know, I don't have any knowledge of this video? Because I think it's hard to make a thumbnail whenever you've been so deep into the production process of the video and you know every frame of the video, especially if it's an animation. You edit it and you just are like, this this video inside and out. It can be hard to make a thumbnail after that, because you know everything that's in the video, so you kind of subconsciously assume that everybody else knows what it's about. But that's why thumbnails are like super underrated, because if you look at it from that standpoint of like, nobody knows what this animation is about. It's your job to convey just a bit of what the animation is about, to validate to the viewer that this is a good animation and pique enough interest in them to make them want to click. Yeah. And also, while you're at it, I'll just go ahead and spill all my YouTube secrets. Not that I have very many. Think of your... Okay, so what I've been doing actually recently is I look at my thumbnail from... I like scale it down and make it super small on my screen, because I edit on my laptop, so my thumbnail looks huge. Even if you're doing it on a phone, like scale down the image to about where the size it would be when it's on YouTube, like the homepage or the subscription feed, or especially like on your channel where the thumbnail looks really small. Look at your thumbnail from that size and ask yourself like, okay, is this a readable thumbnail? Like, do I actually know? Does this thumbnail look too cluttered to where I can't actually figure out what's in it when it's this small? So yeah, make the object like super visible, super large, not huge, but like large enough to be like the main subject. Keep it simple, and yeah, you'll be good to go. I just did like a whole thumbnail masterclass right there. Minotaur Productions asked, question for the next podcast. Do you have any experience with sponsorship? Where do you get your Legos from? And if there is a YouTube subscriber milestone to face reveal, what would the count be? Ooh, those are some questions right there. I'm going to start with the sponsorship. I've never been sponsored before. Well, I take that back. The storytelling cheat sheet. I'm sponsoring my podcast, so technically I am sponsoring myself. So that technically is a sponsor. Anyways, but no, I've never like legit been sponsored. But I got this like YouTube course that I kind of regret getting. But one of the cool things it taught was about landing sponsorship deals and stuff. And it talked about like building this like one page, like, what do they call it? Toolkit? No, not toolkit. Like kind of like your personal portfolio of like, this is how many views I average. These are the average comments I get, like how many comments I usually get per video, you know. Here's my like to dislike ratio. My community is like very engaged in what I make. All that stuff you kind of put into this like showcased like presentation page on like a Google Doc. I forget what they call it, but what you do is you find like a brand that you are really like. Like for me, that would probably be Newer because I have their softbox. I have their macro filters. I know I got more. I feel like I have more, but the products they have are so cheap, like very budget friendly for filmmaking products. But the quality is so good. Like I haven't had any problems with that brand. And if they contact me for sponsorship, I would say yes to it. Newer, if you're listening, please sponsor this podcast. Anyways, but yeah, find the brands that you would talk about regardless of if they paid you or not. Because if you just do it for the money, people can sniff that out. You don't want to do that. But yeah, find the brands that you use every day and ask yourself like, okay, does this apply to my community? Like, would my community actually benefit from this product, or is this just something I use? And ask yourself honestly on that. And I mean, another brand would be like Logitech because I use their microphones, and I just got a webcam. Actually, yeah, I just got a webcam today. The C920. I'm super excited to try that out. Got it off eBay. $25. That's after tax and shipping. Like I got it for $17, but after all that, it was $25 for like an $80 webcam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's like $80 new. Shout out eBay because I do most of my buying from them because it's so good. Anyways, I am really running off on a tangent here. But yeah, find the brands you really use every day and like rave about naturally. Don't just find a brand just for the sake of finding a brand. Just wait for the idea to pop in your head of like, hey, this is a really cool brand. I like what they're doing. I support them through and through. I'm going to contact them, and then you just email them. They should have like a sponsorship email page where you sign up. You can sign up with their affiliate program. That's usually like 10%. Or something like that of like all sales go to you through your link. Or you can contact them directly and go like, hey, here's my pitch. I will accept $500 per video. This all depends. I'm just throwing out a number, but like $500 if I talk about your product in this video for like a 60 minute, my goodness, I need some sleep. 60 second sponsorship clip where I talk about your product and do an honest review on it. Or even if like you're doing a review video, that's typically what they really like. I'm not even speaking from experience. This is just me thinking. But yeah, just pitch them the idea. Don't wait for them to pitch you, because you're still a small creator, more than likely. So if you just bring your portfolio page to them and say like, hey, I don't have many subscribers, but the subscribers I do have, they're very engaged. They comment all the time. And just lean in with that, because they'll see that over your subscriber number, because that's more important. It's a conversion ratio, is what they call it. But yeah, that's pretty much what you do. I haven't done that yet, but if I were to find a brand that I would want to be sponsored by, that's what I would do. And it's what a lot of people do. And if you're wanting to look for a sponsorship deal, I would highly recommend you do that. Okay, the next question was, where do you get your Legos from? eBay and Bricklink. I don't like buying Lego like directly from like Amazon or Lego themselves, because I'm not a huge supporter of Lego. I'm serious. This is so ironic. I'm not a huge supporter of Lego, but I animate with their stuff. But I just buy off market by like eBay or Bricklink. Bricklink's great. I got a lot of minifigure heads from them for super cheap. It was great. Not super cheap, but like a lot better of a price. Actually, like a good price. Yeah. But yeah, that's where I get my Legos from. Other than that Bricklink order I did, I haven't gotten Legos much. I have such a big collection, I don't need it. If I were to get Legos, it would just be for minifigures. That's about it. After that, you can do whatever you want, But yeah. If there is a YouTube subscriber milestone to face reveal, what would the count be? 1 trillion subscribers. That's my number. Nah, I don't. Here's my thing with face reveals. I think they're weird. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I think they're weird. Like, you set your channel up. I'm just gonna say, like, for anybody who has face revealed, I'm not saying you made a horrible decision. This is just my personal take. But you set your channel up to be around this signature Lego figure that's supposed to represent you. Okay, that's what I do. That's what literally everybody does. But you do that, and then later down the road, you just decide to turn on the camera and people start looking at your face, and it throws off the whole thing. It's like, I didn't think you looked like that. I kind of imagined you looking like this because of your Lego minifigure. You look totally different. You kind of got me feeling different about your channel. I'm just being honest. This is just the thoughts that go through my head of like people who face reveal. I'm like, oh, okay. Was not expecting that. I'm going to be honest. I did think for like a split second about showing my face so I can teach tutorials easier. But I just remembered about my take on face reveals with Lego channels, and it's just weird. I'm sure people have a million different opinions on this, but for me personally, I just think it's weird. It's weird, okay? If you're gonna start a channel, just go ahead and start with your face. Don't start with a Lego minifigure, because you get the point. Anyways. But no, I'm more than likely not going to show my face anytime soon. Just watch next video. I'm going to like just flip the camera around. No, I'm kidding. I would not do that. April Fools? No. Battle Droid asked, if I'm making a longer animation, would it make sense to release a short trailer / post a short about it? Or should I just post the video and let the people find it? All right. I would highly recommend you make a trailer. If it's like a longer animation, like 3 to 10 minutes long, more like 5 to 10 minutes long, definitely make a trailer about it. Make a short 30-second trailer. For the Iron Squad, I'm gonna be making like a minute-long trailer because I got some epic music I'm gonna put to it. I got it all mapped out. It's gonna be awesome. And it's gonna be so much more serious than what the film actually is, which is the funny part. But yeah, treat your animation, if you've been working for months on this thing, treat your animation like a big studio film. Like, you see studios marketing in so many different ways. They don't just post a trailer on their YouTube. They go out and they make billboards. I'm not saying make billboards, but like, you get the point. Like, people go out of their way to market their films. So Lego animation shouldn't be any different. If you work so hard on this like 8-minute long film, don't let that fizzle by just posting the video. Like, hype it up, share some community posts as you're making the project, build some hype around it. Why am I saying hype so many times? I don't know. And just post a trailer like a week or two before you post the film. Like, you can have the film ready to go, but just edit it and make a trailer and let it just sit there for a week and then post the film, because it builds a lot of engagement and people get super excited about it. It's a super fun experience. And yeah, make community posts along the way as you make it. Post this epic trailer about it, and just advertise about it. And shorts are cool too. I would say that's a should you do that before or after you post? That's a question. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's just do what you think. Because my thought is, well, after you post a Brickfilm, you could post some short clips, maybe a funny moment that happened in the film, and you just make that the advertisement back to the full Brickfilm. That could be an additional piece of advertisement. But it could also work like before as like some teasers, like short 20-second teasers. But yeah, do some marketing, get creative with it. I don't know. Like, I'm about to think of some amazing ways to advertise, but I'm not going to go down that tangent. But yeah, definitely make a trailer for longer animations. Just do it. Yeah, it's awesome. All right. The next question we have is from the one and only Optimus Prime. He asked, question for the next podcast, how do you keep your laptop organized? Sorry. I do keep my laptop organized, just not in the way you think. It's just only organized in my eyes. Like folders, sound effects, visual effects, raw footages, like that. Okay. I do keep my laptop organized. Not nearly enough, but I am good about organizing my video projects. Let me take another swig of water real quick, because I don't know why I need water so much. All right. So what I do is I'm making this video, right? I have a script. Let's take it from a Brickfilm standpoint, because I think that's what most people make. I'm not going to talk about it from like a voiceover. Anyways, but I do the voiceovers for the Brickfilm, okay? I have a script. I do the voiceovers. I put the voiceovers in separate folders. So I have a folder for this character's voiceovers. I have a folder for this character's voiceovers, and then I edit those voiceovers to make the conversation in a timeline. And then I export those voice lines, and I mark them as like, say, smiley face dude, VO1, smiley face dude VO2, smiley face dude VO3. So I can, and they're usually like 20 to 30 second conversations that I edited together through the voice lines. And I just have that ready to go. So whenever I know there's a scene that starts the dialogue in the animation, I just drop that in. I do the first one first, and then the second one second, and it's just really easy that way. And then after that, after I finish the animation, usually I'll try to edit the animation while I film it. This may work for you, this may not. But it's a lot better, so you can motivate yourself to see like the final product as you're animating. It helps me a lot to like be like, oh wow, this thing's coming together. I can't stop now. This is practically finished. I see the first 20 seconds. This is awesome. And yeah, super, super underrated technique or just workflow. And so I export like the first clips of it, start editing that. And I just put all the clips into this folder and say like, smiley face dude, clips, and just dump them all. And the key here is to just dump videos and audio into like the right folders. So like I would dump all the animation into a folder and have the dialogue, the finished dialogue, into a separate folder. And so when I edit, I have all of that ready to go. I export it whenever it's finished. Oh, for sound effects, I have a huge sound effects folder I just built through the years. And of course, Nintendo Music, I just got that saved on folders. But yeah, having a sound effects folder from all the sound effects you've ever used in previous animations, super awesome way to do it. So that way you're not looking up new sound effects every single time you make an animation, which gets so time consuming. Oh my goodness. It's hard to find good sound effects these days. Well, yeah. Like there's a lot of great sound effects, but they're buried amongst the horrible, like recorded on a security camera sounding sound effects. And it's like, I don't want that in my animation. But yeah. And whenever I export the animation, I have that, and then I make a full folder. Actually, I do this in the beginning, but I make a full folder called whatever the Brickfilm, like smiley face dude, and I just put all the folders I created for this film all into that like main folder. And that's pretty much how I do it. I'm pretty good about organizing Brickfilms, not that great about organizing my computer, because I just got random stuff that I feel like is important, but ultimately is not important to be laying around on my desktop. But yeah, still working on figuring that out. But anyways, all right, Optimus Prime strikes again with another question. He hit the 1-2 punch. Eamon Studios did it. Moose Kid did it. Walsey the Fish did it. Actually, Battle Droid is about to do it here. Yeah, see, he did another question. So we got 2 1-2 punches of questions in the same episode. Wow. I do not plan for this, okay? I just put the questions in here, okay? So he asked, also, how would you make a nighttime scene? Because that's the hardest thing for me, making a nighttime scene look realistic. All right. I have little experience with nighttime scenes. I've done it once or twice. I didn't try too hard with it. I could have done better. But from what I have learned, the key thing is to turn off your room lights. This is important for me personally because unlike most animators, I animate with my room lights on because I don't like animating in a cave because that isn't fun for me. So I animate with my room lights on. Personally, don't experience any noticeable flicker from it, but I do animate on a DSLR, so it kind of helps to blend the light flicker together. So I turn my room lights off, and then from there you can do one of two things. If you want a soft, moonlit kind of looking nighttime scene, you use like a big soft light, like a softbox. You probably don't have a softbox, so like take your desk lamp, put some paper over it, kind of diffuse the light as well as you can, bounce some light around with some paper, some white bricks or whatever, and make it a soft, moonlit scene. Of course, change your white balance to be a bit bluer to match the vibe. Or if you want like a super dramatic nighttime scene, If you want a super dramatic nighttime scene, you can have like a backlight, like a blue backlight, where, well, you can do like a white backlight, and then like the white balance covers that. But you have like a backlight behind your character, and now it's like this super dark, like the moon is hardly lighting the face. You can barely make out this minifigure's face, like dark nighttime scene. You can do that as well. Or I think the best way to do it would be to, you know, if you want like it to look like nighttime, but you want everybody to be recognizable and everybody can be, everything in the scene can be easily seen, I would recommend you have like pretty standard lighting, like keep it all pretty white, make the white balance blue, and then have some backlighting. Try to keep the light source just one light source, because that's what the moon does. Of course, that's what the sun does too, but anyways, do what you want with that. But the key thing is to like edit it in post. Like, instead of cranking your shutter speed down or up, however it goes, to like 1/800th of a second, which makes it super like icky and desaturated and dirty looking. I did an experiment recently with my phone, and it just, ugh. If you're animating on a DSLR or something, like actually good, like a webcam or something, then, you know, lowering the shutter speed to make it darker probably won't get you bad results. But with the phone, anyways. But yeah, you, instead of darkening it there, you would darken it in post. Kind of take the highlights down to a minimum with your exposure. Like, don't turn the exposure down. I'm over explaining this, but pretty much just take your highlights down, create that moody look that you want, and play around with the editor, because that's one of the greatest ways to do a nighttime scene. Of course, it's better to do it practically, but if you can't hit all the nighttime looking aspects of it practically, then just take it to the editor and play around with it, and you should get some pretty good results with that. Let's see. The next question we have is from Bricks and Frames 7067. He asked, "Hey, just started watching the series and just thought I'd drop the question. Awesome. You've talked about the principles of animation, follow through, anticipation, etc. But at what point do you think it becomes too much for a Lego animation? I, for one, think that certain things don't fit in Lego animation and that they make it less cinematic. For example, too much recoil in blasters." That is a very, very good question. And it made me think a bit whenever I was going through these questions. But I've landed on this, and that is, like, I think all of, like, you've probably heard of the 12 principles. The 12 principles of animation, which is like the principles that 2D animators live by. If not, go check it out. It'll help you out a lot with your animations. But a question here is, like, do all the principles apply? And I say yes. Mostly. Most of them do apply to some extent to Lego stop motion animation. How much they apply, however, depends solely on your personal style. For me personally, I animate pretty snappy movements. I make it, I do like comedic stuff. Snappy just fits my flow. And the 12 principles of animation, a lot of the principles, like, exaggeration. I was about to say entertainment or excitement. I don't know why. The E's caught me. Exaggeration. I would scale that up to the max when making super comedic animations. But if I were making more realistic and lifelike animations, I would still put in exaggeration, because these are Legos that you want to add life to, so you don't make them stagnant in their animations. But I would definitely tone it down a lot and make it feel more realistic. The same goes for Anticipation. You can have a lot of anticipation, especially if there's a big movement about to happen. I think that's helpful for no matter what style you animate. It's just, these are principles at the end of the day. They're not suggestions. I don't mean to sound like, I'm not even going to try to come up with a word. I'm not trying to sound like that, where like you have to do this. But these are principles at the end of the day. How much you apply these principles, though, do depend on your style. So it's not a matter of, do these principles matter or not? It's just how much do they matter is the real question here. And that all depends on you. For your example of like too much recoil on blasters, I personally think, even though Star Wars doesn't really have recoil in their blasters, that's a personal preference at the end of the day, but I think it helps a lot to show the impact of the blaster. And I recommend it. I tried doing it without much recoil, and it looked really stiff and stagnant and not really interesting. So having a little recoil to your blasters, definitely recommend it. But again, like say exaggeration, for example, it's all the matter of how much do you recoil the blaster, and that all depends on you. If you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, you're like, blasters don't recoil, then go for it. Don't recoil your blasters. But if you're going for like a super silly animation, that dude's gonna throw his arm back 180 degrees and like launch that blaster, and it's just gonna look so silly. And it all depends on what your style is. If you're not trying to go for a goofy scene, like exaggeration is your guy. Not a guy. So, anyways, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that. They all do apply. There are some principles though, like keyframing and stuff, kind of has a lot to do with. So, it doesn't really apply to animation, but to stop motion. But there's a lot to learn from it for sure. All right, the last and final question we have is from Battle Droid yet again. Roger. I don't do great Battle Droid voices. But he asked, do you prefer to mask out your rigs or use transparent rigs and just leave the rig in the video? I mask the rigs out, but I do use transparent rigs. Reason being is if you have a clear like little Lego arm, what's it called? You know, like the long and skinny piece. I'm not Lego savvy with part pieces, but it's got like a stud at the end, 2 studs at the beginning. There's a rod in between. It's the best way I can describe it. But if you have like one of those clear pieces of that, that's what I use for rigs. I have like a base and some like bionicle parts to make the rig more flexible while being structural and not fall over. But I have that clear rod at the end, so that way it doesn't cast a shadow right next to the subject or on the subject. Because once you have a rig that casts a shadow right beneath the shadow of your subject or on your subject, it makes the mask really complicated. Even if you have like a super advanced masking software, it still is a pain. So yeah, always animate with a clear stand, or like the arms clear, so it doesn't cast a shadow. But yeah, I do mask. There are some scenes, super sophisticated super guy, where like my hand was in the scene. Like I forgot entirely to take any empty frames when I made that. And I'm like, I was on a tight deadline for that. It was for a contest. I was having a lot of fun with it. And I'm like, I will redo that if I have some time. I'd set up for a lot of scenes. But I'm like, you know what? This is a silly animation. I'm just going to keep it in. My hands just pops in out of nowhere. And just, yeah. Anyways. I think it just made it more random and silly. But yeah. I would say always usually mask your rigs. Yeah, that's like, I've had challenge videos where, you know, I was on a time limit, so I couldn't take any empty frames, and in those cases, yeah, like what are you going to do? But if you have the time, take those empty frames and mask out those rigs. Masking. It is fun stuff. Anyways, that is all the questions. I managed to breeze by them in under an hour. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. If you have any questions for the next podcast, then drop them down below. And also, while you're down there, I think I'll link it in the comments this time instead of the description to make it more clear. The animation storytelling, the Animator storytelling cheat sheet. Go pick you up. It's a digital like PDF almost. Like you grab the link to it by subscribing to the link in the comments. It's a safe link. Don't worry about it. It's just a weekly animation newsletter where I send you some weekly animation tips to inspire you and help you to improve your craft. So if you want a storytelling sheet and you're interested in a newsletter itself, be sure to check out the pinned comment down below and also the description. And go subscribe. Just go do it. And yeah. Also, if you want some personalized feedback on your animations and some guidance overall on how to actually improve on your animations, then be sure to check out the description below to check out all the ways that I offer animation review services to help you out to improve your animations. If you're interested, go check that out. And I think that's about it. Yes, that is about it. Thank you so much for listening until the end. Unless you skip to the end. In that case, cheater. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and have an awesome rest of your day.